Well, I started another project this morning here at the Living North cabin. I don't know if you noticed before, I may not have shown it up close, but this gable end had some shrinkage, early on when these logs were green, and so the chinkless method kind of pulled away and left some spacing. So at one point I drove in roofing nails and then put cement in the groove there to try and cover up airspace and so forth. Over the years, a lot of that concrete kind of cracked and was falling off, so I decided to pull it all off, and then I'm putting some foam backer in, and then I'll use some real good caulking that I got from the Log Home Supply Company, and that I'll show you here what I'm talking about a little bit. You see some spacing in that, so the foam backer will go in there, and then you're caulking on top of that, and then after that's done, then I'll stain the logs and get another coat of good finish. The other thing I'm doing is kind of sanding or polishing the logs a little bit because it's been quite a while. It takes a little bit of that concrete dust off from there, and also take some of the darker coloring and that off from there. So I use a couple of things. I have a sander with some 80 grit, and then I actually have a buffer tool, which I'll show you a little closer, with a thing called an Osborne brush, which is kind of a fiberglass brush on it, and that excuse me, does a nice job of kind of cleaning up the logs a little bit. I'll show you one spot here. I just tried it briefly. You can see the difference. But anyway, I'll show a little bit of this process. Obviously, I'm not going to show a lot of it because it's pretty repetitious, but we'll see here if I can show a little bit of the sanding process and that, and if I get to the point of caulking and that, maybe I can show a little of that as well. I'm going to show a little bit of this buffer machine, the Makita with the Osborne brush on it here at the lower end of it, partly because we're getting little sprinkles, so can't really have the video camera out in the weather and that, but then you'll be able to see maybe just a little bit better than up on top when I'm up on the ladder and stuff. So I'll get all situated here and then we'll show you how this goes. I'm getting on the safety equipment. I'm putting a little respirator on. I just don't really want to be breathing this dust, and some safety goggles. So I'll get that on here and show you how this operation works a little bit. Anyway, hopefully you get the idea. You know, it does lighten up the logs quite a bit. Kind of polishes them a little bit, and so at some point here when I can get some stain on there, it'll really help make it look a little nicer. So I'm doing this before I put the foam backer on there and before I do any of the caulking, just because I figure, well, and you're not digging into that caulk, that fresh caulk and that either, and getting dust and dirt into it. So anyway, I will stop at least this part of the demonstration right now, and I will shoot a little bit of footage. I'll show you that Osborne brush a little bit closer and that as well. Well, it's evening. I got, I guess, all of the backing in place, and I used the Osborne brush and got most of the logs kind of polished off. Neighbor came over and visited for a while, so I probably took a break for, I don't know, an hour and a half or so. Otherwise, I'd have gotten a little farther along, but sometimes when your neighbor comes to visit, you better take some time and enjoy their company. So I don't know how much more I'll get done on here before I head back to town, but I don't know if I'll get the caulking on. I have a little more to do on the bottom as far as with the Osborne brush and stuff, but it would be nice, I guess, since I brushed this side off, get the caulking on and maybe get some stain and put on at least this side of the cabin, at least for the winter, and then I could be working on the other sides next spring, I guess. But we'll see how it goes. Fall is a good time to be up here and doing some of this work when it's nice during the day and cool at night. So I think this will work out okay, and I just need to decide what color stain to get, and I have a couple samples I should put on and see which ones I like, and wouldn't take too awful long to paint this side, but we'll see how it goes.